Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. And if you're new here, I'm so excited. And I hope you like what you see and I hope you stay. And of course, I hope you subscribe. My goal here at Movie Review Mom is to give you the heads up on movie content and film quality so you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend your time and money watching a movie. So, the movie I'm reviewing today is called News of the World. Now, this movie actually opened Christmas of 2020, and so many movies were coming out in December. I had a really hard time keeping up. And so I just now finally was able to watch this movie. As I said, it's in theaters now and it'll be available on video on demand January 17th, 2021. The movie is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 58 minutes, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is a B plus. And let me explain because I know some people are saying they were extremely bored with this movie, and I actually enjoyed it, but there are some buts. So I'm going to give you an overview. I'll point out things I liked and didn't, as well as point out some tips for parents and themes that are worth talking about. All right, so in a nutshell, Universal Pictures bought the rights to this very melancholy Western movie after its original screenplay owner, 20th Century Fox, was closed by the Walt Disney Corporation purchase. It utilizes the two-time Academy Award winning actor Tom Hanks to tell the story of Civil War veteran Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, based on the novel by Paulette Giles' 2016 novel. She actually received the National Book Award nomination for fiction in 2016. So, long before TV news anchors, traveling news readers would relay the day's headlines across the country for anyone with 10 cents and the time to hear it, as the movie tells us. And it's kind of an interesting part of history. I never really thought about that. I didn't even know that travelers would go from town to town, kind of acting out the news in an entertaining way. And that's exactly what happened. So, this is a very touching movie directed by Paul Greengrass, who's really fantastic, who also co wrote the movie with Luke Davies, and of course, with contributions from Paulette Giles, who wrote the novel. Now, let me give you some quick tips for parents first, because the movie is rated PG-13 and it should be a family friendly movie. However, there is some unnecessary profanity and even some crude language that prevents it from becoming truly family friendly. I wish they would have just taken all of that out and then our families could watch it together. You also see a dead black man hanging from a tree. You see a field with a bunch of dead animals and some blood, and there's lots of violence with guns. You expect that because it's a Western, but some of that other stuff is like, ah. You also hear some German and Kiowa Indian spoken with subtitles. So there's a little bit of reading. So very young children won't be able to understand what's being said. Now, some themes worth mentioning that were illustrated very well in the movie, I might add, are family and home, and the definition of family and home, the power of healing relationships, choice, and letting go of the past and moving forward with the future, and loneliness and secrets. Now, there were plenty of things I really liked about the movie. First of all, being Tom Hanks. He's an American icon in the film industry, and I don't know a single person who doesn't recognize his brilliance as an actor. He's tremendously talented and very versatile, both in humor and drama, and I really like him. I have for years. What's amazing is this is his very first Western film. Well, that's if you don't count his voice work playing Woody in the Toy Story franchise as a cowboy. He's a master at playing flawed yet honorable and lovable characters. Now, this is a Western movie, but it's a much different take on the Western movie, the classic Western movie. Director Paul Greengrass, Tom Hanks, actually worked together in the very powerful movie Captain Phillips, which I highly recommend. This is also the English language debut of German actress Helena Zengel. She became the youngest actress ever to win the Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role award at the German Film Awards in 2019 for her role in a movie called System Crasher. And I haven't seen that movie. She was born and raised in Berlin and began her career at the ripe old age of 5 in a music video. She has that unique spark of a true star. And I know we're going to be seeing a lot of her in the future after this performance. Director Greengrass said that after one look at her audition, he knew that that was the easiest decision that he would make in this film. It's the first time that he's actually used a child actor at the heart of a story, and he just thought she was perfect. And she is. She plays an orphan girl who was raised by the Kiowa Indians. And when she was interviewed, she said that she had never heard of Tom Hanks before, which is somewhat surprising because they have a great father daughter chemistry in the movie and make an unlikely but very entertaining and insightful traveling duo in the movie. The compelling cinematography in the movie is by Darius Wolski, and it's just beautiful. You get plenty of sweeping views of the Old West. James Newton Howard's musical score is a perfect fit for this Western yarn. There are believable special effects and scenarios in the movie. And I found that the silence is more powerful than even the spoken word in the film. The film features dangers that are both by humans and by nature. And there's also some interesting social commentary on how we get our news today, the importance of how it's presented, and how eager we are for it. Now, of course, we have a 24/7 news cycle. It's instantaneous in the palm of our hand on our cell phone. And I used to teach political classes many years ago. And in the class, I would teach my students that every news outlet actually has a political slant, regardless of whether they say they are being unbiased and completely fair. Every newspaper does have a slant. And so it's our challenge to know what that slant is and then be able to interpret the news that they're sharing. But I don't want to get into all of that right now. There were some things that I didn't like. First of all, the movie is definitely a slow burn. And I've read reviews of people who have actually walked out of the movie because they didn't think anything was happening and they were bored. So I tend to agree. I didn't truly feel engaged until about an hour into the movie, and that's not good. However, I stuck it through. I wanted to watch the whole movie so that I could do a movie review for you guys. And I felt like I was richly rewarded in the end. So if you're all about action, you may not enjoy this movie. But if you like some action intermingled with some poignant, slow moments, then keep sticking with it. And I think you'll enjoy it. It definitely has less action and less tension than other movies we've seen from Paul Greengrass. For example, we're used to having our heart beat out of our chest with his tense and exciting movies like the Jason Bourne movie franchise, The Green Zone, or even United 93, just to mention a few of his movies. This movie felt very restrained, but also very appropriate given the subject. There's not that much humor to balance out all of the drama, but there is a little bit. There are a few odd CGI moments where you can kind of tell it's green screen, but otherwise it's really pretty good. The movie is predictable. Once you get into it, you know where it's going, but I felt like the journey was still very enjoyable. Now, I always write down interesting lines or funny lines while I'm watching movies, and I put them on my written movie review at moviereviewmom.com. So be sure and run over there and check that out, but I'll share a couple of them with you right now. So Tom Hanks plays Captain Kidd, and he's relaying some news to a little town, and some of the people are getting riled up about the news, and he says, we're all hurting, all of us. I'm thinking we've got a part to play. And I felt like that line was very timely because the news around the world has been very disturbing during almost all of 2020. And here we are still dealing with really negative news. And we do have a role to play. It's not to just react, but to consider the news and what positive role we can play to turn things around, if possible. Here in the United States, the news has been very alarming lately. And so another line that Captain Kidd says is, as he's talking to another person, he says, the war's over, Mr. Farley. We have to stop fighting sometime. And again, I felt like that was timely. We just have to stop fighting, see where we are, and look at where we can move forward. And then finally, Captain Kidd is talking to some other people about this young girl. And he says about her, she needs new memories. And he says that because she's had a very difficult past. And again, I felt like that was timely. What has happened in 2020? What has happened politically? We need to move forward and create new positive memories. All right, so moving forward, I've got some other movie recommendations for you that I think that you'll like if you like this film. The first one is called True Grit. It was actually a remake of an old John Wayne movie. The remake came out in 2010, and I thought it was really fantastic. Great acting, a great Western flick. So check that one out. And if you love John Wayne, you can check out another movie that people are comparing this movie to called The Searchers. And then finally, another movie that people are comparing this one to is Hostels. Now, Hostels is a rated R movie with lots of bloody violence and gore. So in that regard, it's not that similar to this one, but kind of looking at hostels, the Native Americans, relationships with them, and that kind of content is sort of similar to this. All right, I hope that if you watch this movie that you do enjoy it. Thank you so much for subscribing, and for those of you who are going over to Patreon to support me there. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.